Hey everybody, this episode of Photo Entrepreneur TV is made possible by Marathon Press, which is the professional photographer's marketing partner. Learn more at marathonpress.com.
So on today's show, we have a segment with Keith Krantz from Dominant Web Media. We have the world's best business card. Also an interview from Cabo San Lucas with one of my buddies from Camera Craftsmen of America, as well as a question from one of our viewers.
Not to mention an overview of what is Photo Entrepreneur TV. So we have a jam-packed day. Welcome to Photo Entrepreneur TV, the place where serious photographic entrepreneurs learn to profit from their passion. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. And this has been about a year in the making, hasn't it, Dad?
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know who we are, I'm Josh Hudson, alongside my dad, Bruce Hudson. We are the owners of Hudson's Portrait Design, just south of Seattle. And we are the epitome of a photographic entrepreneur. And that's really what this show is all about: entrepreneurship, business, marketing, management, all that stuff you know you need to do in order to make money and really profit from your passion. And we've kind of been, for those of you that have been following myself or my father for the last 25 years, as he's been on the speaking circuit for professional photographers, we've kind of been out of the limelight the last few years, really kind of been laying low for some various reasons, mainly because we are studio owners first, educators second. A lot of self-proclaimed gurus out there I don't think can claim that. When things get slow in their studio, they hit the road. For us, the golden goose has always been the studio, and we've really been hunkering down and focusing on business and some of the challenges that this economy and our industry have given us the last few years.
Yeah, and so I think we're a good team because I've been doing this for over 30 years, and if you haven't noticed, a lot of things have changed out there, especially when it comes to driving traffic to your website or making the phone ring. A lot of the traditional forms of marketing just aren't working anymore. So I bring 30 years of experience, but I also have a partner here who thinks a lot differently than all us older photographers, and he's really been helpful, to say the least, in kind of helping me or us drive this business in new directions. And that's kind of what we want to share on this weekly web TV show, how we've been able to navigate through this lousy economy and come out at the other end, especially when established studios, many of them are just dropping like flies. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be covering every week is how we're doing it, what works, what not to do. So that's what the show is all about.
Yeah, and for those of you that maybe want to learn a little bit more about us, I'm not going to bore you with our bios here. You can go to mystudiomentor.com, which is kind of our educational hub, and you can go ahead and click on About. You can read about myself, you can read about my dad, read about the studio, and really what My Studio Mentor is all about, which is marketing, sales, image creation, and studio management, kind of our 4 pillars to studio success, if you will. And it's a lot of things we're going to be covering in the show. Not so much the image creation. I think there's a lot of that out there. This is more how to profit from your passion, how to make that phone ring with the right type of client, how to get that client in, and how to maximize that sale every time with the client. I can't tell you the amount of newer photographers out there that have no clue what they're doing, how to price their work, how to sell their work. Going out, chasing around a kid for 2 or 3 hours in a park and then mailing them a disc after you've spent 16 hours trying to fix them in Photoshop, that's not a business model, guys and gals. Okay? And it's one reason why the newer photographers are only in business about 2.5 years on average. We've been here 31 years, and we're not only surviving in this tough economy and in this challenging market that we're in, but we're thriving. And yeah, we've had to make some tough decisions, and we've had to do some things that we probably never thought we would have done about 10 years ago.
That's for sure.
To make it. But our business model really has gone a lot more modern. And I'm not talking about giving everything on a disc. That's actually something we don't do. And many of the industry leaders out there that are actually making money, a sustainable living, not just not just going out on weekends, as your second job, but actually paying for your lifestyle, doing what you love, they're not giving away on disc either, guys, okay? So that's the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about and sharing a lot of the content and strategies and things that we've done the last few years to really turn things around for our business, and we hope we can do the same with you.
Yeah, just a quick example with that. I mean, I just got back from a new client, who wrote me a very nice, sizable check. Josh was a little surprised because he was down there this morning talking to them about building websites and things like that. But these are some amazing potential clients. They're clients now because they wrote the check. But the funny thing is the way that they found us, or the way that they heard about us. Now, 5-10 years ago, I never would have done this, but one of the new marketing strategies that we've been doing the last 2 years has been giving photo classes out of the studio here. And that's where these people saw us. They showed up for a 4-hour photo class. The wife had the newest, greatest Canon, whatever it was, $5,000-$6,000 body. The next weekend they showed up in an advanced class, and they both had that camera. And that's where they first heard about us. And so that's, kind of the non-traditional forms of marketing, but we're finding that a lot of these non-traditional forms of marketing are really working for us, and that's what we want to share with you on the show.
That's a great point, Dad, about the non-traditional forms of marketing, which is a great segue into a segment we like to call the Dominant Web Minute with our buddy Keith Krantz, owner of Dominant Web Media. Take it away, Keith.
All right, in this segment, what I'm going to talk about is the hub and spoke model of getting more traffic and really sales into your business. Now, if you're a small business and you're trying to grow your business a little bit, you know that you're probably overwhelmed. There's so many different places that you should be marketing. You should be on Facebook, you should be on YouTube, you should be on Google and all this stuff, right? It's overwhelming. But what I like to do is I teach a hub and spoke model, so you're not overdoing all the efforts. For example, I might do a 5-minute video. And what I'll do is I will take that video and I will repurpose it into lots of different formats. What's the hub and spoke model? Well, I used to be an airline pilot for about 6.5 years for Horizon Air, part of Alaska Air. And the airlines use a hub and spoke model. So like, for example, Northwest Airlines, their hub is Minneapolis. United is Chicago or Denver. That's where all their operations are, right? That's where everything takes place and all their major expenses go. And then they have all these different spoke airports that they fly to and they come back to. Well, with the internet, with marketing your business, it's the same thing. Your website or your blog should be your hub, okay? That's where you want people to end up. That's where they take action. That's where they call you to set an appointment, to come and do something, okay? The Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube, all those are things that you should be dabbling in and always trying to funnel traffic back into your hub, okay? How do you do that? Well, maybe you do a 5-minute video, or maybe you do take some of your photos and turn them into a nice little slideshow or something like that. Then what you can do, or if you're talking about photography in a video, you can take that video and now you can turn it into, you can write an article about it. You can post it up on your blog. Then you can post that on Facebook. You can upload an image and do a promoted post on that links back to your website. You can take that same thing and you can send it off to Twitter. You can put it into LinkedIn. You can put it into Pinterest. So you take one photo, you can take one short video and turn that into a ton of different pieces of content that you can now repurpose and send out to all these different social media channels that all have one purpose. Either bringing people back to your website where they can take action and call you, dial your number, or give you their email address in exchange for something of value that you've created for them. Maybe it's a coupon. Maybe you do a piece of content promoting something and then they come back to your website and they can get a coupon, a 2-for-1 or something like that. But the key is to, kind of being everywhere, but at the same time, always having an end goal. And the end goal is to bring them back to your main hub. Maybe your main hub is Facebook. Maybe you don't have a website yet. And you can kind of make that your hub. But that's the goal, is do something, repurpose it into other things. Because if you are trying to maybe increase your search engine rankings, you do want to repurpose this stuff into articles and stuff like that, because those are what the search engines like Google, they read. They like the content and the text part of it. So turn stuff into PDFs. Lots of cool things you can do out there. But just think about as much as you can do one thing and kind of leverage that and turn it into multiple pieces of content, and then send it out to all these different areas. You won't spend so much time kind of being stuck. Do one thing, get it out there, work on the next thing. Great value. So, all right, hopefully you can use that and put it into action.
So we think that we have found the world's best business card, wouldn't you say?
I would say that, Dad, and it's coincidentally our marathon marketing moments, where we're going to feature something that's going to actually make you money. You know, what a concept, something that you can use to market that will bring people in and make you money.
Cost effectively, these little guys, and I think they call them mini brochures.
The teeny tiny brochure.
Teeny tiny brochures.
Yep.
But these are amazing. If you're out in public, or if you're out at a chamber event, or anywhere, and somebody asks for your business card, you whip one of these puppies out, and I'll tell you, the reaction you get is amazing. A lot of real estate on here. As far as being able to show your images.
Absolutely.
And in this case, we have a Facebook offer, I think a tag or something like that.
Yeah, we got a custom mobile tag on it, and cameraman, if you want to zoom in here and show you a little bit. And basically, you can scan that, and it'll take you right to our Facebook page. And when you like our Facebook page, we give you a $50 gift certificate. It's kind of one of our hooks here at the studio to get people connected with us in different social media realms. And I got to tell you, photographers always come up to us and they go, "Where did you get your business card?" We said, "Marathon Press. They're the professional photographer's marketing partner." They said, "Well, how much is it?" I said, honestly, when you set up the design cost and all that stuff, very, very inexpensive. You just reordered 500 of your cards because you just ran out.
Right.
And it was what, $48 or something like that?
Right. That's because we're part of the MAP program, the
Absolutely.
Marketing Advantage program, and we'll talk about that in future episodes. But I'll tell you, the one of the principles that we're going to be talking about week after week is what can you do to stand out from the other photographers or even other businesses. Mm-hmm. And so I tell you, this for the cost is unbelievable because it is so different. Being in the photography industry and being photographers, we're very visual, and this card really fills the bill for that.
Absolutely. And when you talk about standing out and making a good first impression, if you want to be a serious photographic entrepreneur, do not hand someone a card with a Vistaprint on the back. Okay? I'm serious. The $10 for 1,000 business card offer that Vistaprint has, and you design it in there. If you are a serious photographic entrepreneur, you need to have some serious marketing materials. And this teeny tiny brochure is a way to make a huge impression for not a lot of money, and it'll really make you stand out. In fact, most of the newer photographers don't even have business cards. They say, "Oh, I don't have a business card, just find me on Facebook." Okay, trust me, boys and girls, like the type of client that we landed today, it comes because we do stuff like this. You have to be serious about it. All right, so I know this is cool, right? Here's what we're going to do. We want to send you a copy of our actual business card, okay? So what you got to do is go to mystudiomentor.com and click on Ask a Hudson, shoot us an email with your address, and we'll go ahead and send one out to you free of charge. You can scratch it, you can sniff it, you can get a feel for it, and see the type of quality that this is. I know it sounds mundane. I know you're going, it's just a business card. Trust me, this makes all the difference in the world. And it's amazing when we go over to clients' homes or we go over to one of our clients, maybe his office or something like that, he's an attorney, and we see this sitting on the desk. The shelf life of this thing is amazing. It's not just a normal business card. It really does make a good impression. And make sure you send us an email with your address and we'll get one out to you.
That's right. World's best business card. So for the last 20 years, I've been very blessed to be part of an elite group of photographers called Camera Craftsmen of America. And it's amazing because every year we get together someplace in the world. Josh has been on a couple trips to Wales and various places around the world. This year we were in Cabo San Lucas for our annual meeting, and I got to interview one of my good buddies, Colin Miller, and here's his interview right now. Well, thanks for taking the time to do this, Colin. Sure. You were telling a story a couple days ago about a client that asked to have all the images on a disc or CD, and I think your initial response, you weren't very happy, but then I heard the whole story, and I thought it was amazing the way that you kind of turned it around and made it work for you at the tune of how much was the order?
It was a little over 13,000 before frames. We still have to place the frame order.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about how you handled that.
It started that we got a message left on our phone at the studio to a client I've worked with a number of times, and the client basically left this message, wanted to know if we were up to date like the other photographers who were now putting all their images on disc. And this client has a number of businesses, grocery store business to be exact, in our area. And I said, when they start giving the groceries away, I'll start giving my images away. That was my feeling. And fortunately, I have a wife that said, honey, you ought to think about this first before you answer that way. And so basically what we did was we called the client and, got a little more educated and said, what is it that you really are looking for? And she said, we want to basically archive all of our family history, put them in our iPhotos, or if the church calls and they want to put the image, if they need to send it to them, that's what they wanted it for. And so our response to her was, typically people come in and spend anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 having a portrait created, and then we do the framing, and that's what they take home and put. And this changing world that we're in, and what she wanted, well, she still wanted all the portraits, but she wanted something else. And so we basically agreed upon that I would do the photography, and at the end, based on their order, we would determine what the price of the images digitally would be, trying to satisfy both people. So we did the session, and she loved the images, obviously came back, placed a very sizable order. She left the studio, and 5 minutes later she calls me back and says, oh, you didn't write up how much my images were going to be for me on a disc. And I said, with the order that you placed, I'm going to go ahead and give them to you. So she was like thrilled, which led me then to, I didn't like the look of the way a disc looked, and I just thought it looked cheap, and with products that we produce, it just didn't seem right to me. And so I found this company, Flashbay. I was reading an article about them and found some different little jump drives. So I had these little jump drives made, and it has a little Strauss patent on it, and our website is engraved on the back. It's just a classy, I thought, this is a nice way to present her images to her. So I took every image that she had made, and I scaled them down to 1,500 by 1,500 pixels, and we put them on this, put it in a nice box, and we shipped it off to her. She didn't call us back after she took her portraits home, but when she got this little jump drive, she called back and was like, oh my God, this is the best gift I've ever gotten. So, I think sometimes thinking out of the box is what we have to do. We don't have to give things away for nothing, but I think on the same hand, if we feel comfortable and covered for the work that we do, sometimes giving a little something might be the right thing. It was in this case.
Well, in most cases, I think people are just wanting them on Facebook. It's not like they want to go out and blatantly copy them. And so going with that, a lower res, I think you're fine with that. And, what a great
Cool?
presentation. And what was the name again?
Flashbay.com.
Flashbay.com. So, yeah, check it out. Great idea. Thanks for taking the time.
Well, aren't you just the little jet setter over here? Is that what you're doing while I'm working?
I was working.
I know you were. That's a great interview. Colin's a great photographer, great business mind. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And wow, Cabo, I wish I was there. It looked like you had fun.
We did.
All right, so every week we'd like to do a viewer question, and we call it Ask the Hudsons. And even though this is our first show, we actually do have people that follow us and had submit us some questions. And actually, we have Amy from Renton, Washington. Wow, we got some local viewers because that's the next city over from us. Amy asked, I've been doing photography for a few years, and 18 months ago, I started doing online proofing. I'm not making any more money, and I'm very frustrated. Help, what should I be doing? Great question, Amy. get that from a lot of photographers. You want to take a stab at that there, Pops?
Well, one of the things we're going to be talking about a lot on this show is how to sell your work. And the best way that I have found is to project your work on a large screen. Our bread and butter, our main type of photography that we sell here is large family wall decor or large portraits. And to try to do that online, it's not going to work. Do we do online proofing? Yes, we do. But we do it after the client has seen the images, they've ordered the images. The only reason we're going to put them online is for maybe grandma to see in Michigan or
Yeah.
whatever. But you're just going to kill your sale if you just go from the camera to online. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I've been around the studio, well, my whole life. I was actually 3 months, well, I was the first employee of the month. The studio had been in business 3 months when I was born. And my dad, pretty much ever since I can remember, was projecting. And this was before digital, this was film. So it was the little Kodak projectors, the slides going I grew up listening to that sound. So this guy's been projecting a long time. And hands down, it is the best way to sell your work, Amy. Go ahead and email us or comment below, and we'll give you some more specifics on the type of projector we're using, the software, all that kind of stuff. But really, there is no set it and forget it way to sell your work. You got to do it face to face with people, and it has to be via projection, and it has to be large. It's kind of one of those things where there's a right way to do it and a wrong way. This is the right way. So thank you so much for your question, Amy. And for those of you out there watching this that want to submit a question to us, go to mystudiomentor.com, click on Ask a Hudson, and submit your question through there, and we might have it on the air.
Okay, so what's the takeaway from this, our very first episode?
First one,
First
all done.
one. Oh my God. Well, one of the takeaways today was with Keith Krantz talking about using your website as the hub of everything that you do marketing-wise.
And you can kind of connect the dots to that teeny tiny brochure that we had. And think about that. Think about handing that out at a networking event, or if you're at your kid's soccer game and someone says, hey, I heard that you are a photographer. Yeah, you whip that thing out, give it to them. Wow, that's pretty impressive. They go home, maybe they're sitting there that night and that business card is sitting right there on their counter, and they pick it up and they go, this is really cool. And that sparks them going to your website, to your hub. And then from there, maybe they check out your blog to see some recent sessions. And then from there, maybe they go to your Facebook to look at some videos, and maybe they find a video that you did in Animoto that's promoting your fall family portrait special. And then they go back to your website and they email because they want to schedule a consultation. The point is you have to start thinking like that, thinking like a client, and start thinking of ways to get people interested in what you're doing. And really, you have to have that hub. You have to have all that other marketing stuff put together all in one place. So when they do look for you, they're going to find you and they're going to be blown away. And that's something that we were lacking 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Was a really good website and marketing materials, because we'd been in business so long. We just thought, well, shoot, everybody knows us. My dad's a master craftsman. He's in the Camera Crafts for America. People will just come to us, right? It don't work that way.
No.
We've been in business 31 years, and it does not work that way.
Yeah, you can't be complacent. And I think another takeaway today is the fact that, what worked in the past isn't always going to work in the future. And we mentioned the photo classes that we're doing. I mean, how crazy is that? And trust me, we've gotten a lot of hate emails from local photographers.
You know who you are.
Yes. And threatening us. No, saying, thanks for training our competition. And, it couldn't be, further from the truth. Very small percentage of people that come into those classes want to be professionals. It's kind of like, do you open a restaurant after taking cooking classes?
No. And how do a lot of restaurants get people in? They do cooking classes with wine tastings. They partner with wineries. The thing is you have to look at it that way. If you went into a restaurant and let's say you loved the fettuccine Alfredo and you said, oh my gosh, I got to get this recipe, and the chef gives you the recipe. You could go home and make that dish 1,000 times. It will not taste like the one that the chef makes at the restaurant. And that was an analogy actually one of our photo class students used, and she goes, I love photography, and I haven't taken a family vacation in 20 years because I'm always the one behind the camera. I'm taking this class because I want to learn how to photograph my kids better, better quality. But when I need a family portrait, guess who I'm going to call? I'm going to call you. And our phone has been ringing off the hook now with former students that have come through, and the first time they ever saw us and all of our work was right here in the studio. It's very cool.
Very cool. And we'll talk about that in coming episodes, as well as webinars. We're going to be doing webinars every month. You can check the website for that, but the first one is going to be on pricing, I believe. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yep, on pricing. We have tons and tons and tons of content that we want to share with everybody. Real world strategies, things that work, things that are obtainable. And, you know, we get people emailing us and calling us all the time saying, you know, I loved that webinar that you guys did because I feel like you're one of me. I feel like you're not up on this pedestal. You're not, you know, oh yeah, you know, I just show up at weddings and all my assistants do all my work for me. We're not like that. We are real photographers. Yes, we operate at a high level, but we're real photographers and we're here for you guys. And that's why we're really happy that you're tuning in, and hopefully you took away some good things from this show.
So that's it for this week's show, our very first show. We're all about taking action. We're all about having you take action. And hopefully you learned some things today that you'll be able to take back to your studio and put into action.
Implement. It's all about implementation. One thing I'm going to implement is I'm going to invest in some powder because I am sweating like a pig in front of these lights here in the studio. If you want to be alerted when the next show is up, and we will be posting a show every week, go ahead and like us on Facebook. There's links and stuff at mystudiomentor.com. Follow us on Twitter. But probably the easy and best way is when you go to mystudiomentor.com, in the upper right-hand corner, give us your name and email, and we'll alert you every time a new show is posted, as well as send you marketing and sales tips and things from time to time that'll really help you grow and maintain cash flow in your business. And for doing so, we're going to send you a couple $100 worth of free educational stuff that we've put together up there. So make sure you do that. And for Josh Hudson, myself, my dad Bruce, thanks for watching Photo Entrepreneur TV, the place where serious photographic entrepreneurs learn to profit from their passion.